I think by this point, Persona 4 is definitely one of the most recognizable JRPGs out there, and I can totally see why. I feel a big reason for this has to be the cast that it has and how they interact with each other. And of course, there's more to it, like the gameplay and whatnot. It's just my guess for why that is. That and maybe all the spin offs they got, and it getting ported to the Vita, and now also it getting ported to Steam, but that's again my biggest guess. This game also has the same case with Persona 3, where I went back to play it after I played Persona 5 when I got it about 2 years ago. And despite being over 10 years old, I still think that this game is a solid JRPG to play. And now let's just get straight into the video. And the first point I just want to get out of the way first, and that's the characters. From the Persona games I've played, I think this one's the most lively to me. I also never really got bored with them at any point, just because they all really feel friendly with each other and they just seem like an actual friend group, where something like Persona 3 where they just felt like they were there because they had to be, and Persona 5 is just kind of similar but a step up. In Persona 1 I think it's kind of the same thing, but I haven't played much of that game, so obviously the more I play of it I'll probably get a better sense of that. But still, I really like the Persona 4 cast quite a lot. This is also nice to me just because, throughout the game of Persona 4, you do see them just get more used to each other, which again, with the other games I played, I didn't really get that as much, but they're still kind of there. And then there's the gameplay, and to me, it's still definitely really fun. Then there's the gameplay, which it's still really fun here. It really also hasn't changed much from Persona 3, it's just a slightly smoother and faster version of that game. It also added the ability to control your party members, which I never understood why it wasn't Fez, but that's a totally different issue. And then there was the bosses, which I really liked in this game. They're really all unique from each other and they have really cool strategies. That, and I also feel that the layer of party members you can get, it feels that there's no wrong party member, and it feels like each boss can take in down in a very cool way. My favorite bosses are Yukiko's and Mitsuo's, and his reason is because I really like the remix of the boss theme, and I like the fact that you have to kill the outer shell and then hit the inner shell, and that's just really cool. I also found this game to have some of my favorite character developments in all of the Persona games I've played, just because they're all pretty emotional. My favorites definitely have to be Kanji's, Teddy's, and Rise's, with Naoto's just barely reaching up there, but hers is also pretty good. All of them, again, I found really nice just because they all make the characters realize who they really are deep down. And I know that sounds really cliche, but again, just seeing the characters develop, it's just really nice, and I really like that about this game. Then there's also the music, which I also find pretty great. I really do like the boss theme and the two different seasonal themes, and I don't think Persona 4 has my favorite overall soundtrack in the series, but it's still pretty catchy and upbeat for the most part. Now it's a good time to get into what I disliked, and one of them has to be with how the story is handled. And let me just say, I don't mind more of the mysteries, it's just that in this case, it just takes way too long to even guess who the hell the main villain is, and at that point I just didn't care. And I guess spoilers for a 10-year-old game if anyone really does care, but figuring out it was Adachi, there were so much subtle hints that it was him, but nothing ever made me think, yeah, this is Adachi. Nope, yes, I was spoiled on this, but nothing ever led to him actually saying, yeah, it's him, until the very end of the game. They're all, again, subtle hints, just nothing makes me think, yeah, it was this guy. And I don't mind Adachi's motivations, it's just that, again, it did not go anywhere and you didn't really piece it together until the very end, unless you paid so close attention to what exactly Adachi said. But I just found that really annoying. And then there's the dungeons, both getting in them and actually doing the dungeons themselves. Then there's the dungeons, both in getting to them and the actual dungeons themselves. Getting them takes about 1 to 3 days because you have to talk to people in the overworld just to get an idea where it is in the TV world, just because you have to hear about rumors and whatnot. Then there's the dungeons themselves. They are randomized, which I'm not the biggest fan of. They are more interesting than Tolerus from Persona 3, but it's not that much different, only because of the fact that in this game you actually have some layer puzzles that you have to do by getting certain items inside the dungeon. But frankly, I still don't really enjoy that, and I just find them, again, a lot more boring than just normal levels like how they did in Persona 5. I know there was mementos, but at least there was a mix of mementos and the normal palaces. I'd rather have that than whatever Persona 4 has. And my last real thing that I disliked is how the characters kind of just stopped developing. They still do have their own section for when they're introduced. It's just that after that, they don't really change. They do have their own moments in their own social link, but after that, it's just, they act the exact same throughout the rest of the game. And I feel this sucks with Naruto because, you only see her for like the latter half of the game. She's the last party member, and you only get to really see her longer for the last two dungeons. And I feel this really does suck for someone like Chie and Yosuke just because they're at the very start of the game and they continue to act the same exact way. I just wish that they just did not react to the situation constantly. I feel like they could have at least somewhat changed, maybe have like the party fight a lot more, maybe have like someone leave the group. I don't know, just something to make the group more dynamic. And I do like that, again, they all friendly with each other. It's just after they're introduced and after they're all in, nothing happens with them after that. And again, it just sucks. But other than that, I can still say this is a solid entry in the series. The characters are fun to be around, and the game's just really fun to play. At worst, the story's kind of weak, and the dungeons are really lackluster, but it still really holds up in a lot of other parts, and I can totally see why this entry would be a lot of people's favorites. It might not be mine, but at least I can understand why. But of course, before the video ends, let's go over the likes and dislikes. Likes, characters are fun and have nice developments, fun gameplay, really nice bosses, and really great music. Dislikes, how the story is developed, the dungeons are really boring and getting to them takes a long time, and the characters stop developing. Thank you all for watching and see you guys later.